We're not even good. We just turn up. Yeah, we'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at a final. We'll have a look. Welcome back to The Great Cricketer, brought to you by ASKO, India's leading digital insurance company. Yeah, the boys just turn up. We'll have a look at a final. We'll pick up some silverware. Who do we play? Doesn't matter. Kiwis, yeah, all good. All good. You know what? They're a great team. They're a fine team. There are people around the world, Pez, that are waking up, or they've stayed up, because it's actually a much better time, and thought, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, for fuck's sake. Australia? Fuck.
Australia's turned up at the final. Who's in the final? Who else is playing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just win. All I do is win. It was an aura title. I can't believe the aura still exists. All these people writing in going like, oh, fuck's sake, Australia. And that feels good. And that feels good.
Where are the baddies? And it feels amazing.
It doesn't even stand up to evidence. We haven't been good for ages. But it's like, fucking Australia. And all of a sudden I feel something. Why do I feel arrogant all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Why was my favourite part of this game the ball having not crossed the boundary from Glenn Maxwell and we're on the field? Why was my favourite part that their way of celebrating was aggression?
Yeah.
Everyone was fucking fisting. Let's fight, people. Because it was all rushing back, he goes. Like, it was
that's
that,
right.
you know. I mean, we're going straight to the end now.
Straight to the end.
But like, safety, aggression, demolition job stuff.
Yeah.
Get it, foot on the throat. Like, this was a classic Australian win.
Yeah.
This was over after 7 overs.
Yeah. My favourite bit was when the toss was in, the coin was flipping. I thought, you beauty, let's crack open the champagne now because that's a win for Australia.
Mate, Funk Master Flex, Toss Master Finch.
Fuck yeah.
There you go.
Love that. And I'm also really enjoying the amount of DMs that we've got this morning saying congratulations.
Yeah. Well, and
you
know, we're trying to paint an image of the scenes in Australia. I mean, Chapel Street absolutely banked up. They got just horns everywhere.
Flags.
Fucking people getting their strong 3/4 lattes, tossing them up. It's bedlam in South Yarra. Yeah. People scolding their heads in celebration.
Flares, fucking, True Blue is just not. I can't have to close the doors this morning. Fucking
it's
hell.
coming home, but that's the True Blue.
It reminded me. When I was in New York in 2018. I was at Rockefeller Center, and I was like, this guy came up to this American guy, and he came up to me, and he's like, "Oh, would you mind taking a photo of my wife?" And I was like, first of all, I was like, "For fuck's sake,
fuck me,
fucking hell,
in danger."
Anyway, and then we got talking. He's like, "Oh, you're Australian?" And then he said, "Oh, thank you for all that your country's done supporting America in the war." And I was like. Hey, I make dick jokes on the internet, like, but yeah. I mean, we're all doing our bit. We're all pulling our weight. Anyway, okay, let's have a look at the scores. Toss, we know what happened there. New Zealand made a very cute score of 4 for 172.
That was nice.
And Australia did that with 7 balls to spare, 8 wickets in the bank or the tank, however you want to say it. I'll put that to you in grey terms. Good toss to win, boys. which is the entire tournament, just numbed down into one sentence.
I think if you look at the camera, Zampa actually put his ski goggles on once the toss landed.
Yeah,
you know, he was just ready to go.
He bowled his first over, cap.
They started wheeling the champagne in. You know.
That'll do, boys. We're going to get into the toss in a second. Let's get into the 3 things.
Yep.
Kane Williamson is very good. He probably has the innings of the game, 85 off 48, takes down Stark, hitting balls in the air. There's great shots for him, like both feet off the ground. He's 360. He has a purity even in T20 form. Yeah. I mean, the entire thing is balance and lateness. We know all the cliches about Kane Williamson's batting, but that was a fucking awesome innings.
Great opportunity as arrogant winners to have false magnanimity for this.
Oh, what a player.
Oh, isn't he great?
He wouldn't get an outside.
2s, 3s at best. No, listen.
That's right.
I mean, he rescued the innings. I mean, there was some weird innings around Williamson. Guptill's pace was strange.
Very strange.
I guess Glenn Phillips had to anchor there for a little bit. But mate, in any other game, that's a match-winning innings. Yeah. That was unbelievable.
Even in this game, if that was in the second innings, probably would have won the game.
Well, they were 32 for 1 at the end of the power play.
Right,
they were 57 after 10 overs. And he stepped it up. He took out some of the choppies, some of the choppies. Some of the chop outs.
Chop.
He was dropped. He was dropped by Hazelwood.
Yeah.
And that could have severely changed Stark's figures. Stark went for a few, but won a game.
He went for 60.
Yeah, Hazelwood ends up with 3 for 19. The bushel.
3 for 16, I think it was.
Was it? Okay.
Whatever, too good.
The
Mate,
Bushhorse once again.
Mate, well, mate, you called. Oh, yeah. Just truffling in.
Yeah.
It's the least intimidating noise. I'm Josh Hazelwood. Was it cold? What is that?
Someone meme that, please.
Mate, what? Fuck, another mashup.
Clip that up.
Now, just on Hazelwood, I mean, you called it because he took a bit of tap against Pakistan in the semi, and you called it like every bush horse can have a bad day, but I mean, he's right back into it, mate. What about
have a bad sleep or something in the stables? You know what I mean?
Exactly,
he's off today. The bush, he'll be back.
The hay's a bit wet, or whatever happens when the hay's not good.
Who doesn't fucking clean the stables?
It's Nathan Ellis, stable boy. I mean, in a game where both teams have lost 6 wickets, 6 wickets have been lost in the match, and their average run rate is like 8.5, and one guy takes half the wickets of the match and goes at less than half the average run rate.
Cricket's a normal game.
And Mitch Marsh, it's a batter's game, isn't it? He gets mad at the match. I mean, that is an incredible performance. 3 for 16 off 4. Not bad.
Not bad. I mean, it was we've said, look, I don't know if this is the right place for analysis or whatever, but I feel like we've seen that game before. Like New Zealand kind of strangely pacing their innings, batting first, trying to keep wickets in the bank.
4 down again.
Australia just going in with that 3 quick 1 spinner cohort, seeing what they can get out of that fifth bowler. Fifth bowler still goes for 39 or something like that. But and Stark goes for a bit of tap, but the other guy's just unbelievable. You know, Hazelwood can't, like, you know, it's like the ball's just sticking into the wicket. How do you get that off the square?
Yeah.
You know, he's fresh from Chennai Super Kings win. Yeah. Watto talked about it so well. And then, you know, and Zorba just doing what Zorba does. We're going to come to that at the end.
Exactly.
One for 26 off 4. You know, Colo says on the final word, set and forget, bang on. And then Cummins through the middle as well. You know, it's enough. You know,
Cummins had an understated performance. We'll get into performances at the end, but
I want to get back into the horny stuff later. But I guess we should talk about the cricket.
Again, like this in relation to Guptill's innings, especially. I mean, Guptill's he's probably New Zealand's best ever T20 player. His record suggests that. But his 28 of 35 is, again, we've seen this at the top of the innings where it's hard to get away at the beginning when, you know, and then you have to sort of catch up at the end. And get like 172 is a really good score, probably defendable. But how many times in the last month have we seen guys, the team batting second can probably chase just about 200? But it's almost impossible to get to 200 batting first because you've got to get the pace of the wicket. It's tacky hour. It's
100%.
And Aaron Finch has said after the game that the toss has been huge. He's admitted that. And let's not take away that Australia has beaten almost everyone in the tournament, and they've
except for India and England.
Yeah, except for the two best teams. But you know, Finch has won 7 out of 8 tosses. He's probably man of the tournament.
Oh yeah, toss.
He lost one toss, and that was against England.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
I'm taking it.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought New Zealand did well to get to 170 odd from being at 57 at halfway.
Yeah.
Williamson played some great shots. Even would have been good to see Neesham come in earlier. I think he was 12 off 7 or something like that. I want to say some shit like that just because I'm Aussie and aggressive.
That's right.
But and I thought there might have been some kinetic stuff for New Zealand, given that they finished quite strongly. And then you watch Australia bat cool, this is over.
Yeah,
that's right. Because they mowed it down. He goes.
Oh, it was a mow down. The second thing, the Mitch Marsh redemption arc. 77 off 50.
Fucking hell.
First ball went for 6.
Mate,
his first 3 balls went for 14 off Adam Milne. Red ink literally battered Australia home. We asked him when we spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, you know, talking about in 2019, and I asked him about what that felt like, because he said at the time he feels like most of Australia hates him, and he was really relishing the opportunity to bat 3 for Australia. He just said it was a great opportunity. He's excited by that. Well, fuck, I mean, he scored 28 in the semi-final, I think it was, and then he scored 77. He's literally man of the match in a final that's won silverware for Australia for the first time in 6 years. I mean, this is a fucking incredible performance from a guy who's got the hot hand for the best part of 2021. That'd be fair to say. Probably Australia's best bat this year.
Well, Glenn Maxwell was right. No one's hitting the ball better in the history of the universe of the human race. And that first 6, man, that was sex.
That was fucking alpha.
That was sex.
Yeah. I'm going to bowl my hip,
that was intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, the thing that I noticed, I'm sure you would have noticed this as well, the stump marks were so good. He had this, maybe someone else can clip this up, but just, we have producers now, just the grunt as he hits the shot. He's a big gruntsman.
Yeah, it's tennis.
Yeah, and I like it. And I really like it.
He's a gruntsman.
And, I don't know where what part of the innings to pick up with him, because it really was it felt like a demolition job all the way through.
Yeah.
It was just like, can I hit the boundary? If no, I'll go to the next option.
He's a thumper.
Mate, he's
Thumper Marsh. Mate,
Easy.
Mate, I got to say, I was intimidated by some of the fucking... What, Thumper Marsh? Thumper plane? Hey, Thumper.
Thank you.
I was scared for Warner's wrist when Marsh was coming down the wicket and giving him fucking glove punches. I mean, Mitch Marsh was up for it.
We already lost Devon Conway.
Holy shit. Exactly.
Punching.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate,
yeah.
and like, there was a moment where, you know, like I don't think Ish Sodhi like got the yips.
No, he didn't yip up.
He didn't yip up, but the Bison was at the other end.
He didn't have that bad a game, Ish Sodhi, but he got taken down by the Bison.
Yeah, they weren't coming out quite right.
Yeah,
for Ish.
Sure.
But when you got the Bison at the other end,
right,
you can understand a little bit, because the Bison actualized last night.
Yeah,
and no, like on all of Australia is happy for him. He really turned into the Bison, and like you could see the joy on his face, the exhale, the way he was the Nutrigrain man.
Yeah, I like it.
Once that game was over, we learned that
President is right. That is the national breakfast.
Yeah, we learned that Mitch Marsh voiced that ad.
Yeah, that's right.
As a child.
Note for Dave Warner. A note for him.
Yeah, just a little note.
53 or 38. I mean, that's actually a huge difference in the context of Guptill's innings. I mean, you definitely at this stage of Dave Warner's career, I anyway take him for granted. Just being at the top of the innings, having like one of the best. He's a great. He's a living, breathing great. Jeez, he's won almost everything, I think. Warner. I mean, he's had another great tournament. Second that he run score in the tournament. We'll get to it in the end, but he's literally one man of the tournament here. Just after being dropped and dumped. Fair to say he was dumped by his IPL franchise. Yep. 53 off 38, clubbed him. You know, and Gordon Gambier said it was pathetic. Got a few thoughts on that, but mate, as I said,
Coat deluxe,
mate, bottom 3 beers ever. That bloke, shocking. Get him on the show.
Get him on the show, of course. We'll have
a chat. Of
course. Meeting of minds, a bit of discourse.
And, you know, Australia's won the World Cup without Glenn Maxwell really doing too much. I know he's about some big chop-out overs, but had some good chop. But, I mean, he's also batted really well. He's got 28 off 18, not insignificant. But that's, I think, his highest score for Australia in this World Cup.
He hasn't had to do much either.
He hasn't had to do much. He hasn't had to do much. Well, Australia's won the thing, just cruised it.
Doesn't this tournament demonstrate that, like, there's such fine margins? I know it's a cliche, but, like, look at... Australia limp in the last couple of balls over the line against South Africa, you know, due to the heroics of Stoinis and Wade, right? Both teams finish on 8 points.
Well, one team was nervous.
One of them beats England.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you know, one of them's crashed out in the group stage, and the other one's a fucking tournament winner.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, like momentum's such a massive thing. I mean, Glenn Maxwell just didn't. The wave didn't line up for him, you know, but the rest it did for a number of the rest of the team, and they fucking rode it. I'm sure if it lined up for Maxwell, he would have been fine as well. He ends up hitting the winning runs. He's got good memories, and he was a good choppy. Yeah.
Maxwell's a good chop. Fair to say that I think in Australia's innings, just things slightly went Australia's way, you know? Like, just heaps of balls just bouncing just in front. I thought Trent Bolt was fucking sensational. Yeah. Was it 2 for a 1 for 18 off his 4?
Really good bowler. They're great blokes, the Kiwis.
Yeah, really,
They're good opponents.
Especially in a final for Australia.
Really good opponents.
Okay, let's get into
work hard.
Let's get into the last thing. The players of the tournament. So I've got Finch, obviously. But Australia have beaten South Africa, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and New Zealand to win the tournament. Obviously didn't play England or India. But, like, you know what? You beat those teams and, you probably just about deserve to win the thing. Probably.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. It's T20 cricket. Like it's not one of those things where you get found out over the course of a league or something like that. It lined up for Australia. Players of the tournament. I mean, I think Adam Zampa is the player of the tournament. I think he talks about being underrated. Everyone knows that he's been really significant to the Australian side. But more than that, heading into the tournament, there was a lot of conjecture over Australia's structure of, you know, playing Scorcher's ball, 6-5.
Right.
It was all about going to the UAE with many spinners, and instead they just went with, you know, 3 quicks and 1 spinner. So he's the only spinner in the UAE. No one else around him to kind of pick up that load. Obviously a bit of chop out stuff from Maxwell or whatever, and he has just not only held up his end, but he's been the glue of that side. And, you know, to this point, Australia has always been like top load, front heavy, top heavy, really good in the hard ball, power play, alpha shit.
Yep.
And we've struggled in the middle overs, whether it's bowling or batting, for that sophistication and that style and those tactical nuances. In comes Adam Zampa, the least hittable bowler in the tournament, second most wickets. He delivers again in the final. He's the most reliable player in the Australian side. And like every time he came on, he would just change the momentum of the game and just drag it back for Australia. And when he does that, he permits guys like Marsh and all the batters to go out and play freely. You know, he was the only spinner in the side. I just thought that was he carried a lot of load there. If it didn't come out for him or the ball wasn't coming out right or whatever, I think the whole thing falls apart. And it just went reverse for him. So he was bowling reverse.
He's bowling reverse, he might have some up stuff. He's minusing.
So for me, it was Adam Zampa. And then look, on David Warner, I just wanted to say that, you know, there's going to be a lot of people coming out going, well, for those who criticise the Australian cricket team, whether it be the coach or whatever, you know, you were wrong, and everyone's having their fun with all that kind of thing. But I reckon I would do it with Warner. That is actually a straight misread from me on him, because I was asking, I thought 35, no runs, in the bubble, looking shithouse, like with the blade. I thought, is it time? Is the bull done? He has answered that hardcore. That's an egg on face thing, I reckon. Like he still got it, baby. And I'm sure we'll talk about England in a second, what this means for England. But wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you know, I thought Warner was amazing. You know when he's batting well, when he's like hitting and running, and he's just got that scamper on, the lidless scamper.
Yep.
Well done, David Warner.
Now, the big question, can Australia go back-to-back in World Cups? Because the next one starts in 335 days. And Australia plays that one at home. I mean, Australia have won this tournament. Certainly I did not see this coming in my top 4 or 5 favourites to win it. But they've done it, and now they play the next one at home. And in 2019, when they were playing at home, Australia were favourites to win that before that tournament started. So Australia in Australia is obviously a very hard place for a lot of other teams to win, to beat Australia. So they actually might go in as favourites now to go back-to-back in the space of a year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Amazing.
Like Ali calls it unifying the belts. I don't know if it's just like getting the belt again or something.
That's just being and still. That's what they want, and still.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
And still the champion.
Oh, and still. Okay, it's boxing parliament.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like and one. Fucking foul.
Iverson shit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, obviously it's in Australia, so we'll bump them and get in the front door.
Yeah, that's right.
Basically it, isn't it?
A-guard players, same up.
Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever you want.
And I don't know. Can we talk about what this means for England?
If the England journalists, not all of them, some of them were just like, well, you can't say this isn't going to be a big factor in the Ashes. Well, you know, England now crashed out and Australia's won the thing, so 6-0?
Well, I mean, do we even care about this tournament? I just turned up.
A lot of Australians have watched their first game of cricket today.
I just want to note as well, Higgos, and this is really no skin off those who did it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if many people are aware, but just to sort of underscore the sense of expectation in England for this tournament and what it meant for the culmination or denouement of Owen Morgan's reign of the white ball side, where it's just been based on method and philosophy and aggression.
Yeah.
Journos in the UK, and I'll leave others to find this out, they flew over. They flew over for the finals. They were like, we're going well.
That's right, yeah.
They flew. Yeah. They're in Dubai.
Yeah.
And Scott Horney, you know? You know what I mean? Didn't have to play him, but...
Yeah. Quite a favourable draw in the end.
Yeah.
All right, #AskTGC brought to you by ACO. Let me read off my phone, Pez. Aditya Chobe tweeted, Australian dominance is back. Is that the end of the Asian/skeleton century? Or was that just a fluke anyway before Aussies would jump up again? Does this also mean England will get pumped 5-0 come the Ashes, considering Warner is back in form? #AskTGC. A fine question. What does any of this mean? I think that this will be forgotten in about 45 to an hour and a half. Something like that. Yeah. Well, I mean, New Zealand play in 2 days' time.
Yeah.
The West Indies are already in... Are they in Sri Lanka? And then Pakistan are in Bangladesh. So, like, teams have already left. Like, they're going to start again.
Do you remember what happened in the semi-final?
Who did we play?
Wade
did we
something.
play? Did we skip a go? Yeah.
Shaheen Afridi's got a big jaw, and Wade lapped him.
That's right. Yeah. We've got another show there in an hour. So
that's right.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
Yeah. What does it mean? We're always looking for meaning. I don't think it's the end of anything, but it is.
I think if England had won, it would have meant something, as in for newspapers and the
New
selling
Zealand
of
had
copy.
Won, same thing.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Like
the time of these games was 7 p.m. in India time. That would have been perfect, like viewing time for them. But you know,
New Zealand. We haven't talked about New Zealand at all, really. But like.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They make the final of the 2015 World Cup. They tie the ODI final. They're the World Test champions. They could have won this. They could have been everything, New Zealand. And but it's just New Zealand. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
It was a real thanks for coming scenario.
You always want to play like a strong team in the final that you know you're going to beat.
It was nice. It was
So
nice to have.
harsh.
It was nice to have somebody else there. Really good team, good players.
So many good players.
Yeah, toss everything.
Yeah, but it's just
the bias comes in. Welcome to the big boys.
Tell you what it does mean. I don't think Mitch Marsh has fucking got himself right in the picture for the Ashes. Batting 5. I do think that's true.
That's one thing that might carry over. That might be a moment. I mean,
that actually might be a thing.
This is one of the impacts, I think, of this tournament win, because people are like, oh, why do Australia keep winning these things? We haven't won shit for ages by our standards.
I was thinking
but it was an aura. It was an aura-based win. It was a real, I love gold. The taste of it.
And they didn't even make it through the first round of the knockouts.
But this, it could. And I think this is JL's bag a little bit as well. It is a bit of an aura-based win. It's a little bit of like, is the swagger back?
No, that's right. Australia turns up, they're wearing the goal, they recognise the colours, recognise those names. Oh, yeah, they'll beat them. Yep, lift the trophy. See you later.
The truth is that the Australian team is actually full of quite like self-aware, sometimes even woke guys who want to depart from that whole dick-swinging stuff. But you just see the win and they're aggressive and go, the penises are out again.
It's like Americans. You meet them one-on-one. Americans, lovely, affable people. Get more than 2 or 3. Fucking hell. It's just a bit going on there.
Yeah, that's right. 51st state of America, actually. What does it mean? Does it mean England will get pumped 5-0? Well, there was a few suggestions that was happening anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you as ever for supporting TGC for the last couple of months or so. We're going to take a break for 15 to 20 minutes. The main podcast comes out today. We're talking to Brad Haddon and George Bailey this morning to get their reaction. Their big dick reactions. But thanks as ever, guys, for watching, for tuning in. Whenever you did, most mornings or whatever the fuck. Thanks to the Patreons out there. Thanks to ACO for supporting us the last little while. And we'll be back. We'll be back today. We'll be back today.
Kill me.
See you later.